Hi guys, welcome back to Deep Shift Labs. My name is Krishna and I want to teach you Python. So in this video, we're going to be messing around with variables and it's going to get fun, so let's get started. So here's where we left off in last time's video, and now we want to do some things with variables. So let's start with integer since they're the most basic form of variable. So let's call this integer a, set it equal to 5, and let's create another integer b and set it to, I don't know, 18. And now let's try doing some mathematical operations on these variables. So the first thing we could do is we could multiply them. So let's make another variable called d, and then set them equal to the product of these two, 5 times 18. Or we could do that, but remember, variables have this property where they get substituted in, right? So instead of typing 5 times 18, we could substitute them for their variable names, and so we have an added advantage that when we change the value of a or b, these automatically get updated. And that's really the power of programming, is you could make everything parameterized. And so when you need to change one thing, you don't have to change everything. You could just change that one variable and everything will automatically fall in place. So now we have multiplied it and let's run it. Oh no, we didn't get anything. Can you spot the error? Exactly. We forgot to print the variable d. So let's do that. Print d. Right, let's run it again. And we get 90. And if you have a handy dandy calculator out, you could check these and make sure Python is getting it right. If not, we will talk to Python about it. Alright, so the next operation quite simply is addition. Now you just use the addition symbol. And let's run it again. Make sure Python got it correct, which in this case it did. And same thing with subtraction. Subtraction uses the dash, and we can run it. Now remember, subtraction is non-commutative, so if we flip this around to be b minus a, we are going to get a different result. There we go. And division works in the same way. We can just use the slash, and that's going to divide our variables. And so those are the 4 basic operations. The other one I feel like is very important to learn is the power. Now power, you might think is done using the caret, but actually in Python you use 2 asterisks to denote power. And there we go. If you want to sit there and multiply 18 5 times, be my guest. But that is all the basic mathematical operations. And now, what if you wanted to nest operations together? What if you wanted to run multiple mathematical operations in a single statement? So to do that, first let's create some more variables. Let's make it very interesting. So maybe c is 5.6 and z is -10. So let's try using all the operations we've learned so far and nest them all together. So if we want to first multiply a times b, so let's do a times b, and then let's divide it by z. But if you want to do that, we can't simply divide it by z like this. Otherwise it's gonna it might mess up the order of the operations. To make it very clear to Python that we are dividing by z after multiplying, we will add parentheses. So this follows the very similar mathematical conventions that we use in class, except now it's applied to programming. And then once we divide by z, we add another set of parentheses, and then maybe we'll add c to it. I don't know. We'll add c, something like that. And so as you can see, we can keep on nesting different operations within each other to create a more complex function that does a lot of operations for you. And when we read it in Python, we're always going to read it from the innermost parentheses outwards. So first it's going to do this, then divide by z, and then add c to it. Let's see if that works. And sure enough, we get our answer. Now note, Python is going to try computing as many decimals as it possibly can. There's a way to restrict that, and it's quite easy, but we're not going to get into that right now. So just know that it's possible. Other mathematical operations that are super important are rounding. Like for example, what if you don't want decimal places and just want to round? So what if we use the round function like so and round it? Let's run that. And there we go. It now rounded it to the nearest whole number. Again, the round function takes additional arguments to round to certain decimal spots, but we're not going to look at that in this video. And that's it for this video on operations with variables. Come back and watch more videos on the series to learn more about Python. And until next time, bye.